I've kind of followed the John Murray principles of conduct and working my way through the commandments, and so what I think is what I think sometimes we look at in the text as a falsehood. Actually, at times would not be a falsehood if we knew more about the text. For instance, the midwives are always thrown out as that. Well, I think if you do a little bit more deep dive into the text and you understand how many midwives there would be and who were the midwives and et cetera, I think what they're saying is by the time, and I'm not saying that they aren't finding the ways to clutter their calendar, that they didn't get there at the delivery point, but in fact, they would deliver quicker than they could get there for various reasons, and I think they're taking a valid point and making it, so I think sometimes when we claim that there is a falsehood there, I'm not sure that we understand the context wherein we have to work our way through that issue. So I would at least put that out as a beginning point. So if they come to me and say to me, in World War II, do you have any Jews in your house? Well, I know what they're asking me. They're not saying all that they're asking me. They're asking me, do you have any Jews in your house for me to kill? And the answer is no. I don't have any Jews in the house for you to kill. I may have some Jews in the house, but they're not here for you to kill. And now all of these guys are going to correct me.
So I think we can call this the principle of disclosure. And when we have, this is what we call an ethical dilemma, when you have the commands that to follow one means breaking the other. So sometimes we think things are ethical dilemmas, and they're not. But there are cases of ethical dilemmas. And I think ethicists speak of a principle of disclosure. So you don't need to tell me your PIN number, even if I ask it nicely, for your debit card. I have no right to that information, and you are not obligated to disclose it. And so these soldiers or these officials who come to the door, whether it was Rahab's door or whether it was Nazi-occupied France or Nazi-occupied Amsterdam or wherever it was, they don't have access. They don't have rightful access to the information they seek. And so ethicists speak of this as the principle of disclosure in terms of what you just articulated.
Now, you all have had the wonderful example of the difference between a pastor's answer and a president's answer, right there.
I've wrestled with this a great deal over the years, and especially in speaking with college students and young people, because the issue gets at so many different questions. What Steve has just discussed regarding what the questioner deserves. And I've really wrestled with this because I don't think it's as easy of a question because we have numerous examples in Scripture, and we can come up with all sorts of examples ourselves in our own lives. What does someone deserve? And my answer has been essentially, and this is very difficult for some to grapple with, but my answer has essentially been, it's never right or okay to go against God's law. But I believe that in certain circumstances, God will overlook or God will permit when there is a greater good or protection of others in mind. It's a very difficult answer, but I cannot say to anyone that it's okay to lie when you think it's okay. God may judge that situation, and your heart and your intention and what you did is that you were wrong. And so I think we want to be very careful, especially in counseling young people, that they can sort of play the situational ethical game, and sort of make up their own mind as to when it's right to do this or when it's wrong to do that. I think this really plays out a great deal in what we see even in abortion. Because the reasoning that many people use is, well, it's not going to be good for the child for all these reasons. And so they build up this case in their minds for why it would be worse, they think, for the child to come into the world, for all that the child might have to endure. And so it's better to do this. And so they play this game with these situational ethics, and I don't think we're ever able to say it's okay. And the Bible doesn't give Rahab a pass. It just says she was faithful.